Grace, Yulia, Molly, Margie, thank you everyone for coming. Now, nice and easy to start with. I'm just going to ask you a few questions. We're going to get to know Roman a little bit better, and then we will open up to everybody else for questions on how you did it and picking your brain and all your magnificence. So to begin with, please tell us the story of Roman Pikalenko and how you got from where you started to where you are right now.
Yeah, so if you want really brief story of mine, I'm originally from Russia, but I am based in Finland. I've been here for now over 6 years, and it sounds really crazy because time has flown. I came here to study, graduated. Now I work as a full-time marketer. Yes, you heard it correctly. I actually have a full-time job. I don't do LinkedIn all the time. I don't earn insane amounts of cash from LinkedIn. Uh, yeah, shock. I know. Not yet, at least. I've started posting on LinkedIn like last April, April 2021, and it was a very experimental phase for the first 3 4 months, and then I actually started posting more consistently and more or less towards the niche that I had, and now I am just doing all kinds of stuff. I have the Flamingo Tribe. I have a newsletter going on every week. I started building a course, but then it was all on top of everything. It was too much. I got burned out. So now it's on pause, but I'm gonna do it by the end of this year. I'm collaborating with different people, including this event. Chloe, thank you so much for inviting. And yeah, just having fun. LinkedIn is awesome.
Lovely. Well, I know it's been a little bit of a wild ride. I mean, I remember when I first started posting on LinkedIn, I think you were one of the first people I truly connected with, and actually, reached out to and had a conversation with. So I like to think we've very much grown in tandem, and it's been really exciting to watch both of our journeys together.
Definitely. I
So
remember when you were just as a freelancer by yourself, and now you have your own agency, and the Happy Creative, and it's exciting to see you grow.
thank you. Yeah, it's been a wild ride. And obviously it's come with its ups and downs. And like me, you're very frank and you're very honest online and with your personal brand. So you have been very, very frank about burnout and dealing with burnout and how it's sort of taken over you and your posting a couple of times. So can you tell us a little bit about how you sort of recognize the signs, how you got through burnout, how you deal with it, and how you recognize it?
Yeah, so to be perfectly clear, I may not have experienced the burnout that people usually talk about. I did not get into deep phase of, oh my God, I don't want to do anything. By the way, am I allowed to swear here? Am I?
We don't mind. It's fine.
Oh yeah. So I didn't feel like everything is shit and I don't want to do shit. Um, but I started feeling like it. So I felt like the early signs are there. And the way I was feeling is basically everything felt like too much. I didn't have motivation, not just posting is kind of easy at this point for me because I just create content out of thin air, quote unquote. But the engagement, replying to all the messages, all the comments which pile up, some projects, some collaborations were taking a while and delay, and a lot of things were going on. I have a full-time job. I was posting twice a day. I was finishing my coaching, and I actually announced I'm burned out on the last day of coaching, which was a very nice thing. I have a newsletter that's weekly. I have a couple of collaborations planned and going on. And all at the same time, I got myself into Kajabi, which is like a digital course platform. It was an impulse purchase. I got it for a very cheap price. And then to justify it, I was like, I'm going to build a course and I'm going to do it in public. And I said, I'm going to have updates every twice a week. And then obviously, first week it didn't work. So I had one update. Second week it also didn't work. I had one update. And after that, it was just too much. The inner pressure of I need to update, I need to do that, I need to do this. While my employment situation is also uh, quite questionable, or rather, I'm thinking like what's next for me within the company or outside of it. It's just a lot going on, and I decided I need a break. I took the weekend off, no posting, no nothing. I was literally On Friday after work, all I did was call my friend, go for pre-drinks with my girlfriend, and we went out, went to Afrobeats party. It was awesome. No internet, well, internet, yeah, but no LinkedIn. Had fun, got tipsy, or a little more. Had amazing time on Saturday. Just chilled, relaxed, and on Sunday, all plans kind of got canceled. So I literally just unloaded. I gamed. I binge watched Lord of the Rings, the new show, Invincible, also another show on Prime. And on Sunday evening, I was supposed to pick up my Notion and write content for the next week. But honestly, I felt like, no, I don't think I can do it yet. So I made a decision, a week break will be a healthy thing to do. And Pedro is here supporting me. It's my cat.
Ah, yes, the famous Pedro.
Yes, he has some guest features once in a while. So I took a week break, but I made a promise to myself to be mindful about it. I know people tend to disappear for long periods of time, and then the longer you are gone, and of course depending on how burned out you are, it's harder to come back. But I knew that the week is probably going to be more or less enough, and I will get back on Monday, which I did, and
There
I'm
we
like
go.
89% recovered.
Well, as long as we don't have to go too long without seeing you in the feed. But it's good to recognize the signs, I think, and then take those breaks when they're needed so that they can be short breaks. So you're not having to shut it all down and start again.
Definitely.
So obviously, being a creator on LinkedIn and also potentially creating a course, you've got your newsletter now, you work full time, and obviously you're posting every day or almost every day,
Every
which
day.
means having to have that constant flow of ideas, that constant, things to say. How do you balance everything, considering obviously posting on LinkedIn can take up a lot of time and it's really easy to just get hooked in and be scrolling deadpan for hours on end. So how do you balance that all with your full-time job?
Yeah, so I think there are two things to that, and one is something that people might not realize is that LinkedIn is an actual long-term commitment. It's not something you will be doing on a side consistently, somehow, and it will magically bring results. It's more of a thing that needs to become a habit and part of your routine, depending, of course, on your goals. If you want to grow rapidly, if you want to attract some kind of opportunities, whether it's leads, business, or just a new job, you need to be mindful that this is a habit that you need to start building. If anyone's read Atomic Habits or any other book on habits, it's it starts with small steps. The whole mindset around it for me is if you can do that, for example, posting on LinkedIn, if you can post for 100 days straight, you can probably do another 100. After 200, you can't imagine your life without that posting on LinkedIn. It becomes part of you.
Yeah.
So it really becomes part of your life. You feel it in with the rest. That's one aspect. And the second one, the amount of external commitments you really have. Last year, I was not able to post every day simply because I had too much going on outside of LinkedIn. I had my full-time job. I also was bartending on the weekends here and there. And I was head of marketing at a student organization. And the last two, I got rid of them by the end of the year. So I entered 2022 with extra free time, lack of social life because pandemic and priorities, I guess. And so I had a lot of free time to work on LinkedIn. But obviously, if you have things like family, kids, I don't know, another part-time job, freelancing, cats, like 30 of them, I don't know. Obviously, it's hard to maintain it because you're only human and you have limits.
Yeah, definitely. I think some people have to sit back and find a cadence that works for them. You know, some people they can post every day, for other people it's going to be once or twice a week, and there's nothing wrong with that, because
Yeah.
as we're always saying, it is about value, not about how often you post. So along those lines then, obviously you've been posting for, I want to say 18 months now, is that about right?
I guess if you count, I would say it's healthy to count from May 2021, maybe.
Lovely. Oh,
So
so not even that long yet then.
yeah, not even that long, not yet.
So just over a year of posting. And obviously you've come quite a long way since. So if you could go back to the beginning of your journey and give yourself a piece of advice that you know today, what would that piece of advice be?
Um, Good question, and I think I'm gonna contradict myself here, and I would tell my 2021 self to post more. As weird as it sounds, I would actually tell myself post a lot more. It's hard, but if you get into the mindset I mentioned now, that if you post consistently for 100 days, because I was posting like 3 to 5 times a week, if you
Yeah.
could do it, if you could find a way to post every single day, you will grow much quicker. You will develop the relationships much quicker. You'll build the community much quicker. Again, of course, it depends on your goals, depends on the circumstances, but it will be worth a push. It will be worth seeing, can I do it? And if you can't, then you know you can't. You scale back and you adjust. Maybe a slight burnout is necessary at the very beginning to know your limits.
Yeah.
Um, and that might not be the healthiest advice to give. But for me personally, because I move at a slower pace, I wish I moved a bit quicker at the beginning.
I I think I agree with you, because obviously a lot of learning comes through doing. You can
Mm,
only improve by actually doing something and getting it wrong, or you know, if I looked back at my first few posts and read them now, I think I'd be mortified at just how terrible they were. But sometimes it takes that learning, it takes that, you know, just doing it, and then you start to improve and you grow and you get better. So I completely understand that piece of advice. And I think you're right about having to find your limits and having to really
mm,
push yourself to figure out what your limits are, so that you can then make it a habit, as you were saying earlier.
yeah,
So thank you
I'm
for that. Good
I'm
point.
surprised it took me that long because I started this year with the mindset I'm gonna be posting every single day. Obviously, I didn't post every single day because war broke out and other things,
Mm.
uh, and then I started posting twice a day, and it took me around 2 months to realize just how much it is. But overall, take January to August basically. That's how long it took me to really realize my limits. And now I know. Now I know how to adjust to it. Yeah, so get burned out and learn a little bit, and then scale back, just like Alex said. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah. So in terms of your personal brand then, so where is the journey going for you? What do you see yourself wanting to get to or to reach?
So many opportunities. Yes.
Okay.
It's hard to say because I'm in the talks of something potentially life changing. I don't know, maybe it's too dramatic, but something very promising. And depending on how that goes, I might either scale back on my plans on LinkedIn that were purely for myself and adjust it to what that opportunity will need. Let's put it that way without getting specific. If it doesn't pan out and everything stays the way it is right now, then I want to build up my Flamingo Tribe. And I don't have crazy long-term plans, but one of the things I do want to do is finish that course. I made a promise to myself and the community. I want to build it in
Yeah.
public. I want to show the people how you can do it. And I'm not gonna use Kajabi. It's yeah, I'm gonna start using free or affordable tools. And if people buy it in millions, I use Kajabi. Either way, another thing I want to do is because I have this concept of the Flamingo Tribe kind of get formed out of nowhere. I want to actually give it physical or digital form, and I want to host a series of community building events. So I know quite a few people, yourself included, that run communities, and I would want to dig your brains on different aspects of communities, different stages of communities, monetizing it here, there, a lot of things. At this point, I don't care about my follower growth because I'm almost at 10,000. I just want to try stuff.
Yeah. And I think experimentation should be very much welcomed when you are building online, when you're growing online, especially. I think a lot of people start to worry that if they start talking about something new or if they do something different, they're going to ruin all of their progress. When in actual fact, you're allowed to experiment and to try different things because your personal brand reflects you and you are human and you grow and change just like anyone else, and your personal brand can grow and change with you. So it'll be very, very interesting to see what's going on for Roman Pikalenko in the future. I will certainly be keeping a keen eye.
Another thing that might happen is I continue with my coaching because I just had my first paid one and 2 weeks ago. And
congratulations.
Thank you. And there was a lot of great feedback. And I remember when I was gathering people for that cohort, I guess you could say, there were some people that were not sure about applying to it in August, but they were eager to try it in September or October. So I might give that a try. But now that I've experienced very early signs of burnout, I need to be mindful of what I spend my time on. So either or.
Definitely, yeah. We don't want you burning out. We want to see you as much as we can. So circling back to the Flamingo Tribe. Now, the Flamingo Tribe is obviously a product of your personal brand. There he is.
Say hi to Pinky.
So obviously, you started to grow your brand online, and you started talking about your love of flamingos and just folding it into some of your content, and that has now resulted in the Flamingo Tribe. So talk us through what made you create the Flamingo Tribe, and how you then went about growing that once you decided, okay, I'm definitely going to turn it into a thing.
It was an accident. It was an accident. I didn't mean to create the Flamingo Tribe. It kind of got formed on its own. This guy has been a huge accident, but to start from the beginning, the reason there are flamingos in the first place is because last summer I just made a post and I attached a photo of myself wearing this shirt. People liked it, pointed out that flamingos are cool, and something clicked in my brain, and I was like, well, Chloe got her watermelon, Leah Turner got her rainbow. I can have flamingos. So I slowly started sprinkling everywhere in my interactions, in my exactly in my comments. I would use emojis. In my banner, I would add flamingo. I slapped it on my name. It's still there. And eventually, people were like, "Why are you using flamingos? Why? What's up with flamingos?" And I used photos of me wearing the shirt more. So I had to make an explanation post, and eventually, people started giving it names: Flamingo Squad, Flamingo Army, Flamingo Tribe. I think Tribe is my favorite one, just because it's more like community based. Squad is a bit too operational, and Army is a bit too aggressive. But if someone disrespects people in my community, it's gonna be an army. I'm gonna send my wild flamingo after you.
No, Mr. Nice Flamingo.
I have very appropriate gifs that depict my wild army.
Okay, well, I would say look forward to seeing it, but hopefully I never have to see it.
You're good. You're good.
I'm good. That's okay.
And this guy was an even bigger accident. I was literally walking down the street from the grocery store, and he was on the sideway or on a paywall, like on a walkway, paveway. How do you say?
Sidewalk?
Yeah, on the ground. He was on the ground, right by the shopping carts, and my girlfriend picked him up and said, "You should take him. It's a sign." And no, I'm not bullshitting. It's true story. Some kid must have dropped him, and I wanted to leave him because maybe some kid would come back and pick him up, but no. Now I get Pinky.
Wow. The story behind Pinky, who knew? Maybe it really was a sign.
Maybe, and he's now a mascot for a lot of things. I'm even thinking for my visuals, because I used to use a lot of Bitmojis in my pandemic networking sliders, for example. Just abandon Bitmoji and use Pinky.
I will love to see it. I can't wait.
Yeah.
And I think everybody loves it when they get to see Pinky in the feed.
Yeah, he stands out.
He does indeed. So moving on to some more advice then for everybody here about how to build your personal brand. So I'm going to hand over in a moment to the participants so that they can ask you some questions. However, just before we do that, I would like to ask, obviously, when you started out, I imagine you had all of these kinds of questions that are about to be thrown at you in a second. Fingers crossed, you've obviously learned how to answer them all by now. However, is there any resources, so maybe a book or a podcast or something that you lent on quite a lot whilst building your personal brand journey that you would recommend to others?
Will you refer to the beginning of my journey or currently? Because very different resources.
Oh, well, let's hear them both.
Well, at the beginning, actually, I would have much less resources, and that will just include a few content creators that help me either through messages or just by reading their content. I can drop some links later, and maybe you can share it in the follow-up email.
Yeah,
But
100%.
some names include Florian Declude, Michelle B. Griffin, Ash Rathod, and yeah, those three have been like the foundation for me at the very beginning in terms of strategy, LinkedIn growth, positioning. Currently, there's so much more. Of course, there are like hundreds, maybe thousands, couple of hundred of creators that I absolutely love on different topics. On community building, I believe we have Kevin here in the audience, Kevin Graham. He works at Manscaped and he's freaking awesome in community building. Hasn't formed his own yet, but he knows a lot about it and he has experience building in the past. You, Chloe, Saffron Summer, Ash Rathod as well, Sophie Miller from Pretty Little Marketer, and all the webinars she organizes are great. Maybe it's a cliche to say, but Justin Welsh and all of his resources, they might not necessarily be relevant to everyone because some people just want to build personal brands, but he has articles on how to optimize your LinkedIn profile or content strategy. Couple of newsletters that include Growing Viral from Niall Radcliffe are pretty nice. Those are more general idea on marketing. It gives you it gives me insights on how I could use guerrilla marketing or something else. But generally speaking, the most resources I get is from LinkedIn. Collaborations, events, content I see on my feed. I subscribe to a lot of newsletters. I don't read them as much because time.
Yeah.
No podcasts. I know there are a couple of good podcasts, but I don't listen to them, except maybe the Brand Shift, the one I was at, and you were there as well.
Yeah.
That one is pretty nice by Nick Wozniak. And I can keep going, but yeah, I can share a short list in a follow-up email. But honestly, best advice is discover it for yourself because there's a lot of stuff out there, a lot of good stuff, maybe a lot of crappy stuff too, but I haven't come across as much. And you can always ask me or Chloe. We can share for whatever topic. Sorry, a very long answer.
No, that's all right. Yeah, definitely. I think there is a lot out there, and obviously, it's nice to have somebody weigh in who has dealt with it before. Sorry, I'm just picking up my monkey that fell on the floor that I won in a fair the other day, so don't mind me. Yeah, there's no watermelon, just monkeys apparently. So yeah, no, I think there are lots of resources out there, and obviously, if you can give us a list, then we'll send that in the follow-up email. But yeah, it's nice to have some tried and tested things. And I certainly think
there. So if someone is interested,
yeah, and I certainly think Justin Walsh is a good one because he does talk to, he talks a lot about how to build a personal brand, but he focuses quite a lot on how to monetize a personal brand, which really is the goal for many people building a personal brand. So thank you for that. So what we're going to do now is going to hand over to the audience. So via the chat box, if you have any questions that you would like to ask Roman, please type them out and let us know. Obviously, if it's anything around personal branding, building a brand online, burnout, balance, all of these kinds of things that Roman is very much a voice of authority on. So just to catch up, obviously, Steph said that knowing your boundaries is so important and there is no shame on imposing in them or on imposing them. And that's so true. I think it's really, really important to set yourself boundaries and be really, really rigid with them, with yourself and with others as well. Roman, how do you approach setting boundaries for yourself to ensure that you're not overdoing it, especially with all the things that you're doing?
Good question. Probably not something I can answer so efficiently because I just had a big burnout. I guess I have like an internal switch. In the evening, after certain hours, my brain just doesn't want to work anymore. I would say most of the times, like after 8 p.m., 9 p.m., I don't want to do anything. I'm not the type of guy who is like gaming is only on the weekends, weekdays. I'm gonna be all productive and mindful. I'm gonna read books, and I tell myself that, but I don't do it. I game. I play video games like every night, every evening, or whenever I have time. So I just switch off. Of course, if it's something very exciting like a project, then I'll work throughout the night, and it depends on what's coming next day. But yeah, boundaries are hard, hard, hard to maintain for me. As I said, I don't have that many commitments, so it kind of blends in. Even with my work, I justify scrolling on LinkedIn as part of my job because I kind of manage our company's social. So
It's all right, we won't tell your boss. So yeah, I think it's really important to set those times for yourself when you're saying, okay, I'm definitely not online anymore. I personally don't allow myself to open up LinkedIn or go on my phone at all until after I've had my breakfast in the morning when I wake up, so that I've got that little bit of routine and so that I can have sort of a quiet mind. Because once I get started, that's it. My brain's like.
I definitely have that. I definitely developed a routine in the morning as well. I wake up, shower, eat, watch something while eating, as in on the TV, but I don't go on LinkedIn at all until then. LinkedIn is like a separate part of my morning, right before work. So yeah, that's a healthy thing to do because a lot of people wake up and they instantly stare on the phone, and that's just a zombie way to. For me, it's not a good way to start the day.
And of course, if you're always on your phone whilst you're eating, you're always like this, and then your neck hurts.
Yeah. Yeah, gotta get neck pads and everything. That goes money.
We're all old before our time, and it's all LinkedIn's fault. Bad posture. So Steph has asked, have you ever considered quitting your full-time job and going completely freelance? Your content is awesome, and I had no idea you still work full-time.
Thank you, Steph. Yeah, I have. But it's tricky because first of all, I'm an immigrant in a foreign country, so I can't just quit it and do whatever I like. I need to be mindful of my situation in terms of visa, and my country is kind of waging war unnecessarily. So in a way, I'm in a sensitive position, but not really. I have visa for 4 years. I have considered it, but I would always recommend to anyone, if you want to go completely freelance, don't just quit your job instantly and all of a sudden you're a full-time freelancer. Build it up on the side. And when you feel like there is enough demand and you can manage a full-time, like sustain yourself, pay the bills, buy food, then I think it's the smartest way to quit it. But I have considered it, and it will be fun because I took a vacation, like a week away from working anything, but I was doing LinkedIn extra hard, and I had completely nothing to do. Right, I had an entire week of free time, and I found a really nice rhythm of working. I would wake up at like 10 a.m., procrastinate or just relax for middle of the day. I would work out, eat, game, up until like 4 to 5 p.m. And then I would sit down at the laptop and just work on projects on LinkedIn until all the way midnight or 1 a.m. And that worked really well. And the thing is, the only way to sustain this kind of lifestyle for me is if I was freelancer full time. So I'm dreaming about that sometimes. For now, I'm not gonna do
Yeah, unfortunately, at the end of the day, there are bills to pay, mouths to feed.
it. Yeah,
Um, but it sounds like with the way you're going, you you will have that opportunity coming to you at some point. So I think Steph has just replied there. Let me see.
thank you,
She says,
Steph.
"You do
And
great. I'm certain. I just got laid off from my job and never considered going freelance until now because I don't have anything else lined up." Steph, it'll be really interesting to see your journey as freelance. And obviously, I am speaking on behalf of both of us here, Roman, but if you ever need any help, advice, or guidance, then feel free to reach out to either of us via
absolutely,
LinkedIn
sorry
DM.
to hear you got laid off. It's a crappy time right now.
It really is. So, Kevin has asked, have you experienced any negative things whilst building your personal brand?
Good question. If by negative you mean trolls and creeps and haters towards myself in my comment section, for example, surprisingly, no. I have not had haters. Well, not entirely true, maybe. I had one viral post when the war broke out, and I made a post about, my identity as Russian, Ukrainian, and being in Finland as Finnish. And because it went viral, it was like 14,000 reactions to me, like 1 million views too many, I would say. It attracted a lot of random people. And because it was somewhat political or politically related post, it attracted a lot of couch politicians and people saying I should be proud to be Russian and I shouldn't be proud to be Russian and Russia should
Yeah.
be doing this and US is, you know, controlling everything. And I couldn't be bothered. I went to comment section twice. I wouldn't consider it as a negative thing though, just because I didn't to me it was whatever. People say stupid things and I don't want to pay attention. So in that sense, no. Um, I guess
However, you have come to the rescue many a time for a lot of women on LinkedIn.
I've been trying to. I mean, I swapped profiles with Amy Elliott for a day.
Yeah.
That's so long ago, and I witnessed her inbox messages. The amount of creeps and just inappropriate language guys use. I mean, there was a dude that I get. They were having a conversation about ADHD because she made a post related to it, and he was referring to her as my dear and like darling or something like that. And I responded on her behalf, like, do you really think it's appropriate? Because I get ADHD and sensitive topics, something personal stories are being thrown around, but it
Yeah.
doesn't mean that you can use this kind of language. So I try to stand up wherever I can, but it seems like girls just they don't stop getting it.
Yeah, it's definitely, and it's definitely just this weird corner of LinkedIn where I think men are like, I can definitely get a marriage proposal from here somewhere.
That's probably
But
the best of them all, just to get proposals.
as long as we've got men like you around, Roman, I think we'll be okay. We'll tackle it all together.
I hope so. Again, if anyone's listening, if there's anything I could do, or if you ever want to just chat about it, talk about possible ways to work on it. Chloe has a lot of experience. She pivoted a lot with the way she conveys her content. Feel free. I mean, my community, I try to keep it as safe and transparent as possible. I delete any creeps and stupid comments right away. I don't block them. Well, maybe I block them. I don't respond to them. I don't react to them. I remove them out of sight, out of mind. They don't deserve my attention. Neither do they deserve yours.
I love that. That's brilliant. And I think you're right. They simply don't deserve our attention. I've taken to now just replying with the little bin emoji, and then leaving it so everyone can see.
Yeah.
So Kevin has asked, oh no, sorry, that was that one. Jay's just giving you a bit of love here and saying you want to say hi to the flamingo. Say Alex, relating to Steph's point, I got laid off as well, embraced full-time freelance life. It's hard though. It really can be hard, and it does have its ups and downs, especially when you're at that stage when you're growing, you've not quite got the projection
Mm.
of solid months and solid return just yet. However, now is the time to really, really push, to go for it, to knuckle down and think in the long term. So think about how you can streamline processes,
Mm.
how you can outsource or delegate anything, how you can automate anything, and that's what's going to help you to grow whilst it's just you. So
I fully agree. Recession is coming and it's gonna knock the wind out of everyone. So it's good to be prepared, at least mentally. I don't know. I'm not a freelancer, but I assume the best thing you can do is ask for help
yeah,
wherever you are. LinkedIn is a beautiful
100%.
place, and people are happy to help. So, Alex,
And
Steph, sorry you got laid off, but freaking awesome that you're freelancers now. You are like one person army because I hear how much freelancers need to manage. Taxes alone are a headache. So,
mm, definitely. Um, but yeah, so obviously building communities as we are, Roman, we know just how many people there are out there willing to give you some help and to give you a helping hand. So do not ever be afraid to ask for help.
yeah.
Molly has asked here, did you experience any anxiety at the beginning of your journey? If so, how did you overcome that imposter syndrome that I think we all get at some point?
Yeah, so I still have anxiety, full disclosure. The imposter syndrome never goes away. If anything, even Justin Welsh has it. He doubts himself every single day, and that's not, some random knowledge I pulled out of uh, a bag. He actually responded to my comment about it, and he said, yes, he doubts himself every single day, but the fact is the pros far outweigh the cons.
Yeah,
So I did have anxiety at the beginning. I still do. How I got over it? Well, whenever it comes back to me, I scroll through my feed. My feed is pretty curated right now, so I have beautiful people like Chloe posting awesome content that inspires me and reminds me about the things I love on LinkedIn. I reach out to friends as well. Sabika, if you are listening, she's like a therapist of mine. Whenever either one of us is feeling down or having imposter or burnout, for example, we just go into WhatsApp and chat. So people really help. How else I get over it? Well, I take a break. I'm pretty straightforward with things like I close my laptop down and just don't do anything. Uh, I have these crippling thoughts in the back of my mind, of course, but I also want a game. So I just grab something to drink, play games, come back tomorrow.
I like that. Just a refresh.
But yeah, it's a frequent thing. Imposter will come back all the time. I had it in August. I think I had it in July and June as well. Like a monthly subscription. I hate it.
Monthly subscription.
I
Your
can't
monthly
do it.
subscription to imposter syndrome.
Yeah,
There we go. That's men's period that they always wanted.
yeah. Yeah, so I hope it answers your questions. Feel free to ask more. Imposter and anxiety are a regular theme. Yeah, share your experiences as well. How has it been for you? Because again, everyone's going through it.
100%. Yeah. Obviously, Kevin's agreeing here. He said freelancing is tough. He's started last year and it's taken a year to build momentum.
Yeah,
But can we all take a moment to just celebrate the fact that Kevin is building momentum? That means you're moving, you're growing, you're getting better.
yeah,
So, congratulations on that. It's only up from here.
yeah.
Grace Lester has asked, oh, she said, hi, Roman and Chloe. Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for doing this. Does personal branding help you in your current marketing job? What is your main why? Oh, so we've got two here. So, does your activities on LinkedIn and online help you in your current day to day, your regular job?
No. It's a weird chicken and egg situation. Nothing I do on LinkedIn directly helps my day-to-day tasks and activities, just because I am keeping our social media alive. But this is it. We don't have a social media marketer, and we just need a presence. I'm a growth marketer by profession, which is not exactly personal branding, like at all. So my
Yeah.
activities include a lot around optimization of onboarding, different experiment ideas. So testing new, I don't know, new campaigns, testing new channels, testing different stuff. So personal brands doesn't really fit in there necessarily, but
Yeah.
I have learned a lot of things like content creation and branding in general, like positioning, from posting on my own, which I tried applying at my job, but it has not worked. Social selling was also one of the things that I tried bringing to my workplace, but it was sort of not ignored or rejected, but
Yes.
it's not
Mm.
being implemented. So unfortunately,
So
no. But
if we
if my
pivoted slightly,
manager, yep,
so instead of, obviously it seems like the job that you work at the moment, maybe it's not perhaps well received, but in general, do you feel like your personal branding journey has helped you to become a better growth marketer, whether that
oh
may
yeah.
not relate exactly to your job, but in yourself?
Yeah, actually, completely yes, because I have definitely gained confidence in myself as a marketer, from posting so much and doing all kinds of things on my own terms, learning in my own way. I have learned content creation, social media management, content strategy, community building. In a way, I guess influencer marketing, if you consider, creator collaborations as part
Yeah.
of it. Client management, not so much, but I'm tapping into it. I'm kind of starting a little freelance on my own, nothing big. So yeah, it's definitely helping me become more confident in my knowledge, not being afraid to speak my mind when it comes to topics like content or branding, because these topics are very essential to every business, and
Yeah.
they're not perfect where I work. So it really helps drive the conversation. In that way, it does help.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's great for you, and it could be great for your company if only they were a little bit more welcome to it.
One
But
day, one day.
yeah, one day, but slowly wearing them down.
Yeah,
Um, and then Grace has also asked, and this is quite a big one, so this might be the last question, depending on how long it takes to get through. But what is your main why behind building your personal brand? So obviously, a lot of personal branding is based around finding your why for one, and then leaning into it. And I think that can be a real challenge for a lot of people. So, how did you identify your why, and what is it?
it's it's a good question, and I think this is something I need to also reevaluate a little bit in terms of what impact I'm trying to bring to the platform and what exactly I'm trying to build.
Yeah,
Because to be fully transparent, everything I've been doing so far, and the very biggest reason I started in the first place last year, was to have a safety net.
yeah,
Uh, the current job that I have, it's my first proper full-time marketing job. Everything I had before was unpaid or part-time internships or volunteering, which, well, I worked as a bartender as a full-time person. That says a lot. And I didn't want to do that anymore. I want to have something to back up my existence in case of something. And now that the recession is coming, that's definitely going to be helpful. So that's definitely my main number one reason, the safety net. I want to feel confident that if shit hits the fan and I don't know, I get fired, for example, I'm not gonna cry and go to the bar, which I could. They're gonna take me. I'm not that bad, but I could rely on my network and maybe freelance,
yeah.
survive maybe, or maybe even thrive. That's my number one reason for now.
Lovely. And obviously, as we were saying earlier, your personal brand grows and changes as you do. So
Yeah,
you should constantly be reevaluating your why and refiguring it out. As I did recently myself, I think I sat back and realized, okay, why am I really doing this? Why am I here?
yeah.
So it'll be interesting just to see how it changes and grows.
I have had thoughts about what it could evolve into, and because my target audience right now are young marketers. Um, I thought about why young marketers for a very long time, and the biggest reason here is because I'm a young marketer myself, and everything I'm coaching young marketers or teaching through my content, that's something I wish I knew 2 years ago before I got my job, because then I would get my job much sooner. And I'm an international person in Finland. Yeah, I don't speak local language, so it's extra hard for me to find a job, um, and I just wish I did it. So I guess another why could be more long term is to help other young marketers like myself become more confident, take charge of their marketing career, and experiment and be more in demand. Because first, employers don't know what the hell they want when they hire for marketers. They ask juniors to have 2, 3 years of experience,
Oh
no
yeah.
SEO, social media, PPC. Are you fucking kidding me? You need a full team for that. So that's number one reason, number one struggle. And second, young marketers themselves are pretty clueless about what they want to do. Marketing is huge. There's a lot of stuff you can do. So when you build a personal brand, you have the flexibility to try all kinds of stuff. Are you into
Yeah.
content creation? Do you want to learn a certain skill? Talk about it through your personal brand and apply it on a site like, I don't know, Google Ads, or maybe create a digital product. There's a shit ton of things you can do. So yeah, I just want to help people do that, I guess. How I frame it, that's yet to be decided.
Yeah, I think there is so many places you can take it for a young marketer, and obviously there's so much access to information and skills and knowledge now that you can really take it anywhere you want. And we are starting to see quite a few young marketers be pushed into roles that are underpaying and over expecting.
Steph just
Um,
shared in the comments, then to try to offer 20,000 a year for a role in London. Are you,
don't do it.
don't do it. I mean, breathing in London is like 60 pounds a day.
Oh yeah, yeah. Even that, when you look at it, when you think about how much you actually spend, and I can easily get through like £100 a week not doing much, let
Yeah.
alone if I was to actually go and do something.
Yeah.
So just to thank Roman, you've been very insightful, and I think it's been a really nice insight into how the Flamingo Tribe came to be. So just before we sign off, then would you be able to tell us a little bit more about the newsletter that you've got running at the moment, and then anything else that anyone can go and check out to get a little bit more involved with you?
Yeah, so briefly about my newsletter is it's a weekly thing. I share it every Tuesday, 10 a.m. Helsinki time. I think for UK based people, it's 8 a.m. So every week I share basically 3 personal branding tips, 2 LinkedIn or Twitter posts analyzed or broken down as a structure, how it looks like, and 1 person to follow. It's very easy to read, super digestible. It's not case study long thing. It's literally a couple of minutes. Just skim through. I share my favorite song of the week and then a flamingo fact of the week, because why not? Chloe, are you gonna share the link to it, or should I, or how do you do that?
Yeah, I'm going to send everybody an email tomorrow or in the coming days, which will go through everything that we've spoken about, give the link to the video, which will be available online as well, so we can reshare that, and all of the links to the resources that you've recommended, your own resources, and your newsletter. So.
Perfect. Thank you. And yeah, that's all about newsletter. If you have any ideas that you want to see in the newsletter, people, just let me know. Very flexible. How you can find me and learn more about me. My LinkedIn. Chloe is probably going to share the link, and you can reach out anytime. The response time right now leaves much to be desired, but I try. I will
Yeah,
come back to you at least within a day or two. So yeah.
brilliant. Well, just want to give everybody a chance to obviously say goodbye. So yeah, thank you very much, Roman, for joining us and for talking us through not just your life story, but the Flamingo Tribe's life story too. So Thank you very, very much. Everybody else, please keep an eye out on your emails. Lots of love from Grace there. Please keep an eye out on your emails for a little summary of everything that we've talked about, and lots of links from Roman. And obviously you can catch Isabel's series that we just did last week over on YouTube and socials and the Happy Creative page. And you can also join us next week in the morning to talk to Taslim Fateh, who will be talking us through his journey. So thank you very much, everybody. Have a lovely evening. Thank you again, Roman.
Thank you very much for inviting, and thank you everyone for your questions. Everyone who got laid off and is freelancing right now, you guys are legends. So keep it up. Connect with me if you're not, and yeah, join the tribe.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Have a lovely evening, and we will speak to you soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Oh, I've got so much love coming through the chat. I can't end the call. Oh, what a problem to have.